Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lessons Learned, which is a periodic series of conversations with friends of Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, as well as students, alumni, and supporters. I am Aisha Francis, the CEO of the college, and today I am so pleased to be joined by two student speakers who were chosen by the campus to represent the college for the Commencement 2021. So I'm so happy to have with me Hanna Quigley and Jayvonte Odom. I'll be enjoying a conversation with them about their choice of Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, their futures, and their hopes for others who come behind them. So with that, I would like to start the questions off. Let me start with Hanna. How did you choose Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology to continue your education? And tell me a little bit about your major and what you are doing post-graduation.
So it's actually kind of funny how I ended up at BFIT. It's a little serendipitous. When I moved here from California to Boston, I didn't know what I wanted to be doing with my life. All I knew is I really loved working with machines like lathes or milling centers or like 3D printers and that kind of thing. So I started looking at trade schools in the area, and I found one that was willing to let me come by and see their shop and see their program. And the woman who ran the shop was actually the department chair at BFIT for mechanical engineering technology. So she didn't tell me that at the time. She just told me to go Google the school and see if it was a good fit for me. And I went home and pulled up the website, and it was just like perfect. I was reading the description of the program, and it fit everything I loved doing. And it was just like such a good program that I immediately applied the same day.
I love that story.
Isn't that fun? And it was just such a good decision. It was honestly one of the best choices I've ever made.
Thank you, Hanna. Thanks for letting me know. And so your love of machining grew where? How did that originate?
It started in high school. Again, I moved to a new city and I joined a first robotics club to try to make some friends at that high school. And my first day, I didn't know anybody. One of the mentors named Rory came up to me and he was like, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I said, "No." So he's like, "All right, well, let's just get started." And he took me over to a lathe and he showed me how to do what's called a facing on the lathe. And then he just like handed me all of these parts and was just like, "It's your turn." So I took everything, not knowing what I was going to do, and just tried to kind of follow along with his instructions. And it was like, as soon as I turned it on, I knew I loved it. And I knew it was something I wanted to continue doing.
So it lit a spark, and you have followed that forward to complete your college education. Wonderful. I love that. We're going to come back, put a pin there, and come back to what you're doing and planning to do after graduation. Let me turn to Jayvonte and ask you the same question. How did you learn about Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, and what are you studying, and why is this place, why is this institution, has it been a good choice for you?
Of course. So I just recently graduated with an associate's degree in construction management. So growing up, my father is an electrician. My mom works for Boston Inspectional Services Division. Before that, she was a carpenter. So construction and engineering has always been a conversation in my household ever since I was growing up. But when I first started school, I was going to school out in New York as a communication major. And quite honestly, I didn't enjoy it at all. So when I came back to Boston, I took a few years off from school to try to figure out what it is I wanted to do. And if anybody who's lived in Boston knows that there's been a construction boom for the last at least 5 years. So anywhere you go, you see construction going on. And so walking through the streets of Boston, it kind of picked up my interest again for construction. And so when I was looking at schools, I wanted to go to a school that was a little bit smaller and a little bit more intimate so that I could get that one-on-one feeling with the professors and feel like, I could get a good relationship with my peers. So definitely BFIT was a great fit, and it was inexpensive. And once again, everybody there was there to support.
Wonderful, Jayvonte. So has that kind of close-knit feel that you were seeking, has that been the case? Is that the experience you've had on campus?
Definitely. From the professors that I've had, I've created great relationships with them, to also the faculty, the success coaches, the career coaches. Everybody has been, I feel like a second family for me.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. Let me ask you, and then I'll turn to Hannah, what you're planning to do post-graduation, and congratulations to you on that milestone. But tell me what you're planning to do.
So I have admitted to Indiana State University online so that I can finish and get my bachelor's degree in construction management. And
Wonderful.
yes, during my time at BFIT, I was also doing an internship with a company named Turner Construction. And in November of 2020, they had offered me a full-time position. So since November of 2020 till now, I've been working full-time as a project administrator. And then once I get my bachelor's degree, I can then transfer into an engineering role.
That's incredible. So you've known for 6 months where you were going to be.
Yes.
That's a great story, and hopefully those out there listening know that they can follow in Jayvonte's footsteps. Hannah, let me turn to you. Tell me a bit about the workplace experiences that you've had as a student and what you're exploring as your post-graduation plan.
While at BFIT, I got my second internship, which was at Harvard University in the active learning labs in a makerspace. And I love that kind of environment. So I've been applying to a lot of positions that are in kind of a teaching role where I could help other students learn how to machine. And that's definitely my dream job. That's what I'm pushing towards.
Excellent. And tell me, what was it like having an internship while you were a student, and what role did the college play in helping you secure that internship?
There was an email that got sent out that was a position for the one I got. And reading it, it was like, I know how to do all of these skills because of school, because of BFIT. And when I applied to it, I interviewed, the team seemed to like me, so I kept it. So I got accepted, and then I had the internship for almost a whole year. And it was such a lovely internship, and I really loved working with the Harvard students, and the skills I learned at BFIT, I only improved upon at Harvard.
So how were you able to balance the internship and school? So just tell me in very literal terms. I think people might be interested in knowing that, because sometimes people think of the internship as something that's only for the summer.
It was hard. Some days were harder than others. I had to find out a schedule that worked for me. I definitely had to plan in advance, like my assignments when they were due. I had to make sure I was up to date on when my tests were and making sure everything was finished. But other than just making sure I kept up on my schedule, it wasn't that hard to balance the position with school. It was just me as a human being. I needed to stay organized.
So your time management skills came into play.
Yeah.
And Jayvonte, would you say that's the same for you? Because you just described working while you were a student as well.
Yes. So like Hannah, I was also doing an internship while in school. And then, so it was about the same. It was about the same. Although I didn't get my internship through BFIT, the career success coaches definitely helped me get to that internship. Serge specifically, I sent him over my resume, and he spent maybe about an hour with me revising a couple things and making sure that it was up to par. And so that was a great help. And then during school, like Hannah said, it was just trying to figure out a good schedule, time management. Luckily for me, Turner was very flexible with my schedule. They understood that I was still a student and school came first. So, you know, I went to my classes, then would go to my internship, or vice versa, depending on my class schedule. But yes, once again, it was all about time management.
Well, I commend both of you for being able to balance both. And I know so many of the students at BFIT are working, are doing internships, co-ops, and other sorts of job experiences while they're in college. And so the way that you all do that is amazing. think my last question for both of you, and Hannah, I'll start with you, is what would you say to someone who is thinking now, it's May 2021, thinking about their own future and weighing their options? Should I pursue college? Should I not? Should I make that investment or not? What would you say to someone out there who is thinking about that choice?
It's so funny. I actually just got picked up from campus by an Uber driver coming home, and he asked if I was a student at BFIT, and I said yes. And he was like, "Oh, I've been thinking about applying for the electrical engineering degree." And I told him, like, "Oh, you definitely should do it. It is such an awesome school. Like Jayvonte said, like, it's a small campus, so you really get to know your cohort. You get to know your teachers really well, and you get so much personal help from your teachers. It really makes you feel like you can do anything." And now that I've graduated, I truly feel like it was one of the best decisions I've ever made going to this school. And I was telling him all of this, and like at the end of the ride, he was like, "All right, I think I will apply."
Well, thank you for that one-on-one marketing, and it's amazing that you've had that experience just today. That's wonderful. Jayvonte, what would you say to someone who's thinking about the choices before them and the options that they have to weigh?
So I'd say going to school is definitely an investment and a risk. But going to BFIT specifically, they made the risk just a little bit smaller, a little bit lower, just because all the staff are there to help you to make sure that you're making the right decision in the admission process. Like when I applied and I did the construction management, the admissions officer went through the whole curriculum with me and said, here's the courses that you would be taking. Here's the type of career that you could have. Do you think that this is something right for you? And we went through a couple of different options before I got to construction management. And also, when I say a risk, I mean, a lot of times it's financially. BFIT is I'd say a very affordable school. I've gone to 2 different schools before BFIT, and I've never seen a school be so willing to help you with financial aid, or if you need anything in terms of helping you, get food or pay your rent. Or I've never been to a school who was so willing to help the students, and it's helped me amazingly.
Well, you all are amazing, amazing students and now graduates. So welcome to the world of being an alum of Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology. Thank you for the way that you've excelled at the college and for being willing to speak with me today about your experiences. So Jayvonte, I wish you the best, and Hannah, hats off to you. And everything that you both will do going forward. We're here for you. Please know that we'll be reaching out to you, I'm sure, as part of the Alumni Network, and couldn't be prouder of all you've accomplished.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.